Good day, time, my fuzzies, and welcome to a quick review of a game, movie, or TV show I just finished. All thoughts and feelings are my own and are just for fun, quick way to get out my feelings on what I just played or watched. So enjoy and don't take anything too seriously. Good day, time, my fuzzyites. Welcome to a quick review of Outlast. The game overall, viewer discretion advised, is very dark, with very horrific themes and whatnot, as it takes place in a mental institution, and there's a lot of things you see and hear that could be very disturbing. So overall, just be aware of that. And overall, with the game, it was good. It had the same knack as a lot of other games do. A lot of other games in the same genre of either horror or walking simulators do, where you kind of just go from place to place. Oh, look, you're here. Oh, you need a key. Oh, you need to turn valves. Oh, you need to get this activated, etc., etc. So it has the samey type of, do it over and over, do the same thing kind of over and over again in new places. And overall, my main draw to it was the story. There's like the Well Rider, which is the main encompassing factor of the whole game. And it was interesting. I was very intrigued about it. It made me want to keep going and finding the notes. As well as seeing just how depraved and just horrible. Oh, I didn't even know Banjo-Kazooie fell. That's sad. The smaller Banjo and Kazooie, I should say. But yeah, so overall it was good. It had some good jump scares, I guess. The environment looked interesting, but the story was a main pull for me. Speaking of it, let's get into the story. I don't overly want to do much with this. I'm going to be very vague, as the story being the main draw of the game. It's what kept me going, so I'm not going to spoil absolutely everything about it. But basically, to summarize it somewhat, you are a journalist who has gotten word that some bad things are happening at Murkoff Insane Asylum, and you go and investigate. But when you go to investigate, you accidentally get thrown farther into the facility by the main threat being Chris Walker, who is ex-military, big guy with chains around him, who pursues you endlessly through a lot of the corridors and whatnot. And through getting further in, you meet Priest Martin, I think? Father Martin, who brings you in deeper into the thing, and he wants to show you what is going on with the mystery of this Well Rider, which I won't get into because it is the mainstay of the whole thing, and you going through, finding journal entries to piece together how corrupt this place really is, slash, just what they're doing here. And it was intriguing. Like I said, it's the main draw for me to keep going and want to see more and more and what's going on. So I won't do too much. It's just you're inside the asylum. You need to get out. And while getting out of here, you learn more and more about what the Well Rider is and what they were doing with it, how it came to be, etc., etc. Moving on to the characters of said story. Like I said, you have yourself, who is a journalist. What is your name? You are a freelance investigative journalist, Miles Upshur, who has decided to investigate a remote psychiatric hospital named Mount Massive. It's called Mount Massive Asylum. So your whole role is just to figure out what's going on. Throughout the game, you come across, like I said, Chris Walker, who is a big guy, who you learn about him through reports that he was in the military, he had protocol, and he's really trying to follow you every so often, quite a lot. While you're going through an area, he will somehow be there. Beyond that, the other main character, and probably the mainest of main characters, besides yourself, is Father Martin, who finds you, brings you deeper into the asylum, so that you could follow a path that he's let out in blood, in order to find exactly where you need to go, to find the information about the Walrider, and then, report it to the world, or do other thing. Besides that, you are also occasionally, not as much as Walker, but occasionally attacked or followed by the duo brother cannibal team, who kind of just walk slowly. They're kind of eerie, what they talk about and whatnot, but aren't really a major threat, as they kind of just walk slow and whatnot. So those are the main characters throughout, besides some others right at the end that are, don't want to spoil everything. But either way, moving on. So story, characters, the setting. The setting is in unfortunately, a psychiatric hospital. So a lot of what you see is just people who have lost their minds. Some of them are more conscious than others and will say interesting things about everything. But it gives you see a lot of disturbing stuff, and you go through a lot of disturbing areas. Like there's a jail-esque area where the people are locked up. You go through shower rooms, you go through the, what would it be? You go through the sewers, as well as kind of a main nice floor for visitors at the front. You go through a courtyard, etc., etc. A lot of it is eerie and dark and very dilapidated, as the place has been left to rot, and rotting it has been. Yeah. So the setting is very cool and creepy and whatnot. It works out very well, and is really eerie, I guess. Moving on, we have the gameplay, which the gameplay is very standard non-action action, where you can walk around, run, crouch, jump or leap over things, and whatnot. You have a camcorder that you can activate, that you can zoom in and whatnot if need be. That also has a infrared or night vision. I think that's it. Night vision, infrared. That allows you to see in the dark. That is very helpful for a multitude of reasons, of course. And certain things in the game will happen where you need to have your camcorder out in order to make notes on it. That's the only part of the game that really, you also need to find batteries to power the the camera, which it does have a good lifespan to it at least, which is good. But also I probably missed stuff in my own gameplay while going around, as I didn't have it on fully looking at every single thing sometimes. But beyond that, your main goal is just go through, either open things, find items to put into other things to unlock things, and avoid any trouble, as you are not going to win any battles you come across. This is very much a sneak around / stay hidden type of game, which works really well for what it is. You're just trying to find the mystery, not get involved in any shenanigans. Yeah, so the gameplay really works well with it. Like I said, having to fight the big burly guy, you do have to sneak or hide places and try not to have him find you. It is good. I enjoyed it. And just all together, in conclusion, it makes a very fine game. Like I said, the main draw for me was the story of the Walrider. It's like a spirit type thing. You see a video somewhat early on of people getting taken out without anything actually touching them. So it's very eerie. The environments are eerie. The characters are interesting, but they do, after a while, you know what you're doing. There are some random maniacs that come after you. You just have to run from them, go into somewhere and whatnot. So it does become somewhat samey as you go through. But that's a lot of the walking simulators where you can't really do much. But like I said, the story was really intriguing to me, which kept me going the whole time. And the gameplay, I like the camera aspect. it gave more of a like dependence on it and finding batteries and whatnot, and then finding all the exploring areas that you don't need to go to find the notes in order to piece together everything that's going on was also good. So like altogether, a really fun game for like the story wise of it. I would love for someone to maybe I'll look up a theory on it and see what's going on with the game, if there is even something deep to look into. It would just mainly be fun to see everything compiled into one area. About like, oh yeah, just so you know, this is Outlast, this is what it is about. There is the DLC, the Whistleblower DLC, that I'll have to look into at some point later on, very soon. As I'm sure that will explain more of like why they were going after why they tried to get the Well Rider and whatnot. But who knows. But either way, I am out. So, thank you my fellows for watching, and I will see you next anytime. Take care.